Hi. I'm just going to talk for a bit of time. I've not got the chat up. I'll come to you guys later. I'm not okay. I'm very angry. Don't really know what's just happened. Hasn't quite processed. So this is going to be a bit of therapy for me, I guess. Oh God, I don't even know where to start. As I said, I'm not being rude. I just need to talk at my camera for a second rather than talk to comment the chat. So I'll come to the chat later. Apologies if that's rude, but I just need to speak for a bit, I think, in my own brain. Yeah, I've got a bottle of Pepsi Max. That's how stressed I am. I've moved up from cans to fucking massive bottles. What should have been a celebratory evening. We should be celebrating an ugly 1-0 win, essentially. And the conversation would be, yeah, City weren't great, but irrelevant at this point. All we need to do is get back to winning ways, especially in a derby game. Literally all that matters is getting the win. I don't care how we play. I don't care if it's pretty. I don't care how many chances we create. I don't care how many we can see, so long as we win. That's all that really mattered. And that's what should have happened. Because we did enough to win the game. Because you were winning 1-0 in the 86th minute. Right? You don't lose the game from that point. That just doesn't happen. It doesn't matter how bad you are. It doesn't matter if you're Southampton. You know? It doesn't matter if you're Real Madrid. It doesn't matter if you're City, Ipswich, whoever. You win the game when that happens, right? That's the only outcome that can happen. But same with Feyenoord. When we were 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go, it was the exact same things that happened. One bozo moment leads to another bozo moment, leads to a mentality capitulation, and then it's dead as a concept, and then the game's done. From a position of, it just should never happen. Alas, it has. There have been many issues at City this season. Many, 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 which we've remarked upon. There have been some physicality issues. There have been some tactical issues. But this is, for me, the most embarrassing one. It's the same thing with the Feyenoord game. It's the mentality capitulation. There is no, because there's just like no world in which that should happen again. And it's very frustrating, obviously. I just don't really know. I will try to get into like analysing the game from a tactical perspective, but it's very hard. It's very hard with a game like this because, and we'll get into it, I don't think like Guardiola did much wrong from a tactical perspective. Obviously it was weird for Nunes to play at fullback, and we all joked about it, in his comments. It sort of worked to a degree. Like, he wasn't bad. I know he made the mental errors at the end, but Nunes wasn't bad in the game. He was actually semi-competent and all right for the most part, outside of the ridiculous ending, obviously. As I say, I don't think Pep got much wrong. First goal, even before the first goal, in fairness, Doku just kept giving the ball away, led to what should have been the equaliser for United. Again, 5 guesses as to who was just like watching Bruno Fernandes run right past him rather than pick him up. So we got away with that. And he made the right decision. He took him off. He brought on Jack Grealish. He brought on Kovacic to shore up the midfield. But the players let him down, quite frankly. The players let him down. I don't really know what more. I don't know what else he could have done, Pep, given the personnel, given the fact that his team are winning with 4 minutes plus added time left. I don't really know what much more Pep could have done. And I'm totally willing to critique Pep, you guys know that, but I don't really know what would have been the alternative today. But it's just a moment of madness, isn't it? Sorry, this isn't a very good stream, is it? Sorry, apologies. I'm just feeling very weird and deflated, obviously, so I apologize for that. yeah, I can't even begin to explain what Nunes is doing on that first one. It's a carbon copy of the Sporting goal, and where he loses the ball and then he tries to make up for the error and then he makes another error and gives away a penalty, and it was such a needless penalty to give away, and that ruins the game and that ruins his performance, as I say, because before then he was playing all right. But you can at least chalk that one off to, well, we all know, even though I've said that some games calls for Nunes playing in the midfield, if we're having like Gundogan and Rico Lewis, etc. in the midfield, there's got to be some physicality there. Even though it called for him to be playing there, we all know he's not good enough for City, realistically, long term, and he probably should go in the summer. And that's not just because of this error, that's just because of his overall play. We all know he's not that good, or City quality anyway. And it's seeming unlikely that he's going to improve in that regard. So that's, again, so you can go, right, fine. It happens. He's never played fullback for City before. It's the first game he's done it, and he's done it in the Manchester derby, and he's actually been semi-competent for 80 or so minutes. You chalk that one off as a mistake. Fine. Whatever. Move on. The second goal is probably the one I hate the most, because there is an outside chance. It's slim, but there is an outside chance that with the time remaining and the injury time, there's a chance you can go on to win it, or, you know, worst case, you share a draw. You share the points, it's a draw. Not ideal, but it can still happen. There's not much time left. I think it was like the 88th minute when the penalty went in, but we've seen stranger things in the Premier League. We've seen stranger things from City. So to then just under seemingly zero pressure to just give up the winner in the 90th minute is beyond disgraceful and embarrassing and disgusting, to be honest. From like a professional athlete perspective, there's just no excusing what and everyone knows I'm a big Ederson fan. There's no excusing what he did. I've no idea what he thinks he's doing there. Gavardio should also do better, I think, with the clearance, obviously. But in the first instance, I've no idea what Ederson's playing at. Just stay in your area, let it go. The defenders are going to catch up. There is no threat there. There's no danger. And then the bottling, obviously. Good finish by Ahmad, good touch and good finish, fair play. And Ahmad was very good throughout the entire game, even before the penalty that he won. He was still a very good very good in the match up until that point. But we just make it so easy. Make it so easy for opposition teams to play against us, don't we? Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter if it's, you know, Sporting or Man United or Palace or Bournemouth or Juventus or Feyenoord. It doesn't really... It's largely irrelevant what the level is. Such is our horrendous application out of possession in particular. And that's, again, I'm sorry to keep banging this drum, and I'm sorry to keep saying I told you so, but that is, once again, the reason why we lost today. Sometimes you have to win 1-0. Sometimes you have to win ugly. Sometimes the opposition will defend quite well. And again, I thought, you know, even though I don't think United are good, I didn't think they were very good today overall, in terms of their individual defenders, their centre-backs played very well. You have to give them that. Sometimes that will happen. And sometimes they will congest the space, and it means that you can't create a load of chances. But if you score a goal, you've scored a goal. You've done the hard part. Now just be resolute, be solid, don't bottle it, most importantly. But we've forgotten how to not bottle it. That's what, in fact, maybe that's a sign. Maybe that's why I got a bottle of Pepsi Max, because that's what City have turned into this season. And it's happened in multiple games this season. And I can't explain it other than it's some sort of weird mentality issue. Why else would that happen? In terms of throwing it away in the dying embers of the match. In a derby, no less. in a derby, no less, after one of the worst runs. Well, in fact, it probably is the worst run for every single one of these footballers, almost definitely, at club level, surely. I doubt any of them have gone through a period this rough. Certainly not the people who have been consistently at City their whole career. I'm sure like De Bruyne, even when he was like saving Werder Bremen from relegation, I'm sure they didn't go on a run this terrible. So it's just I just don't know where the mentality's gone from a lot of these players. I keep thinking, I keep saying, it can't get worse, can it? Surely not. Surely this is the lowest low. Surely this is the lowest low. And I've got to stop saying that because, again, this feels like the lowest low, but I could be surprised yet again. And when you also bear in mind the context of this weekend, in terms of the other clubs who have drop points, Arsenal and Liverpool. Any other season, I felt nothing at the full-time whistle for those games. I felt nothing. I didn't celebrate. Didn't really care because I knew that it was irrelevant. I didn't think it would be irrelevant in terms of this game. In fairness, I thought City, may have actually put on a decent show and maybe got the win. Obviously not. And again, it just goes to show that once again, City defensively out of possession. It's shameful. It's embarrassing, and this issue goes beyond like Pep's in terms of today. Pep's tactics. Again, I thought it was all right from that perspective. I thought it was fine. The Nunez experiment worked for the most part. It wasn't ideal, but such is City's situation that we find ourselves in. Again, you could argue that that's Pep's fault, but in a vacuum, in terms of this match, it was all right. Yeah. I will say, I don't think any player played particularly well. I thought first half, Ruben Diaz was very good. I thought Foden was good. Gvardiol obviously scored the goal. They were the only players who I thought actually were good in that first half, or very good in the case of Ruben Diaz. Second half, I don't know if anyone played well from a City perspective, but they didn't necessarily need to because they got the goal. And I think maybe at that point the message was just don't lose. And maybe that's the wrong mentality to do. I don't know, but I was actually all right with how City approached the game in the second half. Maybe that's controversial, but for the most part, United weren't threatening. This is why it's so frustrating. Outside of mental errors by us, that Walker just watching Bruno Fernandes and Doku giving it away, and then the Nunez error, and then the Gvardiol / Edison error for the last goal. Outside of that, when United had possession, they weren't really doing anything with it. So I was quite happy that City, backed off a little bit, because every time we went to press, we all know we're not very good at pressing anymore. And a lot of our possession, we just like win a foul, and then it would be like, quite conservative. And again, I didn't have an issue with that because we were winning. It didn't matter. All that matters, as I said at the top of the show, all that matters is getting the win at this stage. And I think that was absolutely fine. And again, but for the ridiculous individual errors, but for the ridiculous mental capitulation, we would have won. And we would have been talking about a great, ugly win, not pretty on paper, not particularly fantastic results. The game was obviously low in quality, but that's what we could be talking about. And ultimately, that's all that would matter, given the run of form, given the fact it's a derby, given that you're playing for pride at the end of the day. Just get the win. That's all I cared about. Get the win. Nothing, didn't care about anything else. Anything else. But they couldn't even do that. Very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. And obviously the fact that it was against United obviously makes it worse. Of course it does. The manner in which it happened makes it worse. Yeah. I've no idea if there's anything in this. But only 4 players at the end were, stayed to like applaud the City fans. I've no idea if there's anything in that. Maybe I'm reading far too much into it. Fortune for 321 Bytor. You will have unexpected great good luck. I'm going to call bullshit on the fortune cookie. I'm assuming that's a super chat, so thank you so much. I will get to chat in a moment. I'm just having a bit of a moment right now. I just need to vent, and then I'll come to you guys, and you can vent with me, yeah? This is such a shame, because there are so many interesting things to talk about from that match. Like the way Nunes was being used, the way that in the second half, in the first half, like out of possession, Foden was in the middle, and then second half, he swapped it, so Foden was left and Doku was in the middle. That was really interesting. And I would have loved to have spoken about that, and the fact that Nunes was constantly finding himself in so much space, and how he was consistently being the free man, and how that was working out really nicely, and how United's like midfielders weren't really able to deal with that. But all that talk is irrelevant now. None of that matters, clearly. Fortune for Dakshin, Karthik, Sridhar. The majority of the word can't is can. Well, City can't fucking win a fucking game of football, seemingly, unless it's against the mighty Southampton. I'm just throwing fortunes all over the floor. Pissed off, as you can tell. Yeah, I don't know where we go from here. Well, actually, no, I do, because nothing's changed. It's worse than I thought it was. I guess what's the most worrying thing, though, is that if we lost today because of like a tactical issue, then I could like go to Pep and go, I'm not going to go to him, but you know what I mean? I can like identify that and go, right, Pep made a mistake, he won't make that mistake again, or he'll learn from it. If this was a like personnel issue, from like a, you know, like a physicality perspective, so I'm going to have another swig, I could go, well, we're just not good enough from an athletic perspective. We don't have enough athletes in the side. That, you know, that's fine. That can get addressed in Jan. That can get addressed in the summer. How do you fix a broken mind? God, that sounds like a philosophical question, doesn't it? How does one fix a degraded mentality? Can some of these players bounce back long term? Or is this demonstrative of some of these players actually are frail mentally? And if they aren't winning, do they just shut off? Like Edison, for example, Gvardiol, you know, Walker, less said. In terms of like the defensive capitulation and the mental goalkeeping. I guess that's the biggest question mark, isn't it? Maybe it's harsh. But I don't know if it is that harsh, to be fair, because Edison's been here for what, 7 years? And that was like a schoolboy bit of decision making from him. I don't know how harsh I should be on Gvardiol, because he obviously scored the goal, which was going to win us the game, great header, and he has been played to death. Like, he is mentally fatigued, he is physically fatigued. So how much do I blame him? I don't know. I feel like, even though it's mainly Edison's fault, I feel like Gvardiol should still be dealing with it. And he's young, so maybe that's too harsh from me. But I don't even know what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of babbling here. I've no idea if it's entertaining. I don't even know if there's anyone watching because I haven't got the chat on. I will get it in a moment, as I say. Apologies. Well, not really apologies, but you get me. I just need to vent. I need to vent. Here's some fucking data for you. Manchester City have conceded... Sorry. Liverpool are top of the table, yeah? They've only scored 3 more goals than us. I know there's a game in hand, but... bear with me. So, in respect of scoring goals, there's actually not that much of a gap between us. We've conceded 10 more goals than them. We've conceded 23 goals in the league, ladies and gentlemen. That is worse than Liverpool by 10, Chelsea by 5, Arsenal by 8, Forest by 4. Don't worry, guys, Aston Villa have conceded more than us. It's only 2 more, but at least they've done that. It's worse than Bournemouth. Bournemouth have conceded 3 fewer. It's worse than Fulham. Fulham have conceded 1 fewer. Don't worry, guys. At least Brighton have conceded 2 more than us. It's worse than Spurs. Spurs, who notoriously just like play the most suicidal kamikaze highline in the history of the universe. It's worse than that. It's worse than Newcastle by 2. It's worse than Man United by 4. By 4. West Ham fares. It is worse than Crystal Palace and Everton by 2. Do you know what position Crystal Palace and Everton are in the table? They are in 15th and 16th. We are conceding goals at a relegation rate. Yeah? We are conceding big chances at a relegation rate. Just the 3 today. Just the 3 conceded today. Therein lies the problem. The problem has not changed since basically the start of the season. This has always been the problem. It always will be the problem this season. Sometimes you have to win 1-0. And people may say, and I would have liked the attack to have been better today, for example, but you got the goal. So win ugly. We used to be able to win ugly really well. We have forgotten how to do that. This is why when people suggested, why can't City just, do a low block and defend? We simply do not have the mental discipline for that. We do not have the concentration levels to do that. We do not have the individual capabilities to do that. That is the problem. 1 goal is horrendous individual error. 2nd goal is spineless, pathetic, disgraceful, mental collapse from our defence, including the keeper, to be fair. And then that collapse happens at a point where you can't even respond to that. You bottle the game in the 90th minute. You can't even respond to that. If you're going to bottle it, lads, at least do it in like the first half or something, so we can actually respond and do something. If you do it late on, there is no bouncing back from that. The damage is done. Right. I've ranted for quite a bit there. The league's obviously over. It was over before this match anyway. But that's another reason why it's so frustrating. Had we won today, we'd have had the same points as Arsenal. Arsenal, who haven't been particularly good this season either, but it sort of speaks to the fact that, oh my God, there's a potential minuscule outside possibility that if we can just survive for the next 3 or 4 games, we can hit the market hard in Jan, bring in a midfielder, bring in a defender, our injured players come back like Kovacic, John Stones, Bob, etc., etc., and maybe there's a tiny possibility the City can at least pose a threat in the title race. As slim as that is. That's why today is just beyond disgraceful. It's beyond disgraceful, and I actually don't know what there is to say about it. I don't know what there is to say. Once again, I'm not going to have too much of a go at our attackers because ultimately we did score a goal. We clearly didn't want to really push for another goal in the second half, probably because we were scared about getting fisted on like a counter-attack. They did enough, so I'm not really going to have a go at them that much. There's maybe one player where I'm like, I thought you were shit, to be honest, but yeah. Again, it's the defense. Once again, I don't know how much of a go I can have at Pep as well, in fairness. Maybe you can say second half, wrong mentality, but I don't know if it was, because we would have won 1-0 with that mentality. So actually, I'm not going to have a go with him. You can't legislate for Núñez dropping the most clangorous clanger in the history of clangers. You can't legislate for whoever you want to blame, whether it's Gvardiol, whether it's Edison, whoever, I don't care, whoever you want to blame. You can't blame that individual for doing that as well. It's just a thing. I'm now going to go to the chat. I'm now going to go to the chat. Do I even have the chat? Where's the chat? Hello? Right, here we go. Sorry, guys. Right. We had some super chats. Thank you. I'll come to those first. 3-1 bye talk. Win at Stoke and relegation. Happy days. Dakshin. I think the squad doesn't trust each other. The fitness problems don't help. You can see it in the passes. They're that much more hesitant. Yeah. Thank you so much again for the super chat, Dakshin. It's a multitude of problems. Age, fatigue, style, quality, age and decline. Yeah. Right. How do I fucking... I need to get the chat back there, don't I? Where are we at? 1 second, guys. Apologies. Right. Okay, I can now see the chat. Another fortune. Tomorrow morning, take a left turn as soon as you leave home. Shut the fuck up, man. Right. Does anyone have... Sorry, if there's actually so many comments. I don't know if I can go all the way back. Can you if you had any comments, can you refresh them? Yeah, I know KX mate, thank you. Can you put them here again, please? If you had any thoughts on my rant there, thank you very much. Yeah, there we go. Here's us, guys. Here's us personified. I'm not okay too. Yeah, big up. As soon as they scored, everyone's thinking, don't give up the second, don't know what the players are thinking. They aren't thinking, are they? They're thinking of being shit. That's what they're thinking. Nunes, Doku, not good enough. Cows done. Edison's head's gone. What do we do? Because we have to do something. We could lose to any team right now. I was, as I say, I wasn't going to go in too hard on any of our attackers. Because again, we scored a goal. The one have a go isn't the right word because he's still a very young player, but he's not. He's still making errors. That's really concerning me. And I do like this player a lot. I don't get what Doku's doing. I don't get what Doku's doing. So many times, just terrible. Mazraoui had a field day in terms of just dealing with him. I know that a couple of times Doku got past him, but it was largely irrelevant. And I referenced it earlier, but when he gave, he lost the ball to Mazraoui, and then he tried to foul him 3 times, and it's like, what are you doing? If you're gonna commit to the tactical foul, just commit, lad. And he just didn't, and that really frustrated me, because that was a point in the game where we just had to be resolute. And I just didn't really get it. Now, ultimately, that's not the reason why we lost, because in fairness, he was obviously off the pitch, so maybe that's an unfair criticism. But it's just frustrating me with him sometimes, to be honest. I still don't see him as someone who should be starting right now. I think he's still in he should be an impact. So, and again, this isn't Doku's fault. I think this is more a fault of squad building, because I'm a big fan of Savvy. I'm a big fan of Doku as well. But are these guys? Again, it's not a fair comparison, but this isn't Mahrez, and this isn't Sterling, and this isn't Leroy Sané. They are good players, but I think it just speaks to the overall drop in quality at City, and that's okay in a couple of areas of the pitch. And maybe maybe it's unfair for me to target Doku specifically, but it just felt very frustrating. And it's not. And again, he's a young player, but this is now his 2nd season. I need I just need more of it on a more consistent basis. You get me? And I just feel like at this stage in their careers, I don't think it's fair to them. I don't think it's fair to them for us to say, right, 'cause how many times have I said Savio's got to be starting? You know, that sort of thing. But Savio is a young kid. He shouldn't really be our main starting right winger at this point in time. There should be like a more senior one, and then like Savio's the understudy or whatever. Even if everyone's fully fit, it's Bob and Savio. Now, exciting players, etc. But in terms of like the now, again, big fan of these players, and I'll add Doku to that list, etc. Are these players that we want to be really, again, hanging our hat on and going, yes, you are going to be the difference maker today? And it's not fair for us to expect that of them, and such is the case. I think that a lot of these players are still at their impact sub status, if that makes sense. Again, that's not the reason why we lost today. The reason why we lost today was the Nunes mentalness, and then the Walker slash sorry, not Walker. Sorry, force of habit. Gvardiol slash Edison errors. That's ultimately why we lost today. But again, I just asked massive question marks of, you conceded one goal and you immediately bottle it, you immediately give up, you immediately capitulate. Why is it, again, maybe this is just because I feel betrayed and disgusted. Why is it only 4 lads at the end clapping the fans? Yeah, maybe this doesn't matter. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But why is it only Foden, Haaland, Gvardiol, Diaz staying at the end? Am I reading too much into that? Maybe I am. That just annoyed me as well. I was so close to losing it when that happened. Obviously after the fucking loss as well. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe it's irrelevant. I feel like it's not irrelevant though. That just really irked me. Again, maybe that's just a me thing. You guys let me know. Am I being a baby about it? Does it not matter? Please let me know. That really pissed me off though. That really pissed me off. Again, maybe it doesn't matter. But I felt like it did matter. To me. It mattered to me. Yeah? That's all that matters. So yeah. Again, that's the situation. Daniel, I am very humble. I think you'll find. Pep needs to switch something up, says Sam. Chelsea 7 points ahead of us. Chelsea are a lot better than us. I left earlier, says beyond belief. People going after Hall and have no clue what the meat of the problems are. Yeah, again, this is why I'm not really going to criticize Haaland too much. I do feel like sometimes like his movement could be a bit better, but there's in a conversation of what City's problems are, that does not come anywhere near to even scratching the surface from my perspective. Has he been out of form for the past however long? Maybe he has, but he's nowhere near the chief concern at City. It's not even, I don't even think it gets into like the top 10 situation that's happening right now. There's so many other factors. What else do I want to talk about, man? This is the thing, like there's only so many times I can say we're just shit. It's not just quality. It's not just individual quality. It's just a mindset, a shit mindset. I don't get it. And I don't know. I'd love to sit here and go, guys, just take this player out and throw that player in and everything will be fine and dandy. Because I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't think it is as simple as that. These issues were here last season. Again, said this many a time. These issues were here last season as well. What were the differences? What were the differences? Rodri was obviously in the squad, but this goes beyond Rodri, obviously. The other differences were that individuals were essentially bailing us out. Whether that was Rodri, whether that defensively or offensively. You know, whether it's Rodri, whether it's our attackers, whoever. there are so many parallels of this season compared to last. The only difference is that we happen to win some of those games. Again, because of individuals helping us. Or that sort of thing. No, not bloody Alvarez. Guys, no, not because of fucking Alvarez. He was one of the worst players. What are we doing? Do not annoy me right now, guys. I'm very delicate. Do not, please, bring up fucking Alvarez, okay? Right. No. No. That's the reason why, okay? Fucking Alvarez. But we're just worse in general, yeah? Overall, across the entirety of the pitch. And we shouldn't really be. And we shouldn't really be. Because relative to last season, this squad is actually better than last season. On paper. This squad is better. What were the differences? We swapped Alvarez for Savio, essentially. Good. We had no right-sided presence last season. That's an immediate improvement. We've added Gundogan. He hasn't replaced him, we've just added him. So in theory, the squad is more balanced. The squad is better. But one little thing happened, it's like a domino effect of shite, is what's happening. One bad thing goes wrong, and another bad thing goes wrong, another bad thing, and the defense just act like babies. What else is this explanation? What else is the explanation? This is I didn't think it would, the Feyenoord capitulation, I didn't think it would get worse than that. Somehow, this is worse. And I've no idea how. I've no idea how we've managed to do that. That should have been the bottom. The absolute bottom of the barrel. The exact same situation. Did we play particularly good against Feyenoord? Not really, but we did enough to win. We did enough to win. Same thing today. We did enough to win. We were the better team. And yet, once again, our own worst enemy. Once again, own worst enemy. And it's so boring. I have to sit here after every single game for like, I don't know how many months now. I don't know how many months I've got to keep saying, guys, we're our own worst enemy, and guys, we're not good enough on an individual level, and blah, 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 blah. It's the same old shite. It is the same old shite. I want a big revamp in the winter as well, and summer. And again, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But why were those 4 players the only ones to stay behind at the end? Why? That's really pissed me off, man. I don't know if you guys could tell. That's really pissed me off. It's obviously like and I don't know what the solution is. Because it would be great. I would love, for example, to give Gvardiol some rest. I don't think he was bad today, but again, you guys know I'm the biggest Gvardiol fan. I was desperate for us to sign him. You know I'm a big Gvardiol fan, but he just needs to get dropped at this point, because how many games is it now where he keeps making odd errors leading to opposition chances or opposition goals? I don't know how many games it's been. It feels like it's been either one every other game or multiple sometimes. We all know that Walker's not good enough. I don't know how useful it is to say that, because we all know he's not good enough. Also, that was so embarrassing, man. Just to compound the fucking misery. What is Walker doing? Again, I know it didn't matter. I know it didn't matter or impact the result. But what is Walker doing? Like, trying to... diving, pretending to get headbutted. It's just embarrassing. That's my captain. Again, does that matter in the grand scheme of things? No. But what is my captain doing there, man? This is the fucking... This is the shit that I have a go at Bruno Fernandes for doing. And my captain's doing it. It's just like... What sort of like example does that set? I don't know. You could say, well, if you're going red carded, it shows he was clever. But I don't give a shit. I fucking hate that. I fucking hate that. It shows weak mentality, Loco. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Yeah, I think it sends a bad message. Should I tell you what sends a worse message? And this is where I will have a go at Pepe. Why is he still starting? Why is he still playing? Why is he still on the pitch? Why is he still in the squad? Play fucking JSP if you need to. Play. I think Wilson Esperin is shit based on what I've seen of him. Sorry. Play him. I don't care. I do not care. And that is on Pep, by the way. Obviously. It's not Walker's fault that he's shit. It's not Walker's fault that Pep keeps starting him. But it is Pep's fault. And it's Walker's fault about the embarrassing fucking headbutt. That is something that I will have a go at Pep for. Again, tactically, I thought today was fine. I thought he was fine today. It wasn't great, but it was fine. But that is just unforgivable to me. Will taking him out solve all the issues? No. Because you can say he wasn't even involved in the goals. He should have been involved in the goal, BT dubs. Do you see fucking Bruno just running past him and Walker pointing, doing his best impression of... I don't know, who's someone that points? You know that fucking I Want You poster to send people off to war in the First World Bloody War? That's what he was doing. Sending irrelevant defender-looking ass to their deaths or whatever. I don't know what the hell that analogy is, but you see what I mean. He's just doing that, pointing. Won't you run with him, mate? Ooh-hoo-hoo. Again, wasn't relevant for today, but it's just sort of demonstrative of everything that's happening. It's demonstrative of everything that's wrong with City this season. And yeah, tactically, I don't know what the solution is. I'm not being funny. But again, maybe we're reading too much into this. But Tone tweeted saying, Tone, you know Tone on Twitter. He's often on LB's channel. Shout out to him. I follow him on Twitter. He said something like, "Someone inside the club told me that." So he said, someone inside the club told me that some of these players have like lost it from a mental perspective or don't believe in the manager anymore. Whatever, something like that. He said that he laughed it off. But now maybe he thinks there is some truth into that. And maybe that goes into what we're saying about those 4 players sitting behind. If there's even a slither of truth in that, first of all, disgusting. Secondly, it's not going to happen. But I want a mass overhaul, and I want us to just throw in a load of academy players. I'm not being funny. I'm not being reactive here. I don't give a shit. Jacob Wright, Nico O'Reilly, just start them. And McAtee, if you have to, just start them at this point. Can I have some like desire on the pitch? Maybe, you know. I don't know if that's a stupid thing to say, but it's pissing me off. It's come to a point where I think that just has to happen. And then we'll see. We're playing like shit anyway. So who cares? Who cares if they also play like shit? Shit is shit. Yeah? We do not have a shovel to remove the manure from our club right now. The shovel is gone. We can't buy a shovel until Jan. and the summer, yeah? So these lads will still be using the same fucking shovel, but maybe they can use it slightly better. Yeah, the same shovel that's basically a stick. They can't get the shit out, yeah? I don't know what analogy that is either, but I need something to happen. And I need like a reality check maybe from a lot of these guys. A big reality check. You know? Maybe we'll have to fucking sacrifice a few, you know, some performances coming up. But we're shit now. So who cares? Who actually cares if we're shit now? Just do it. Do it. And maybe that will involve, you know, again, even though I don't think Gundogan was actually bad today, but maybe that will involve just like popping in Jacob Wright or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm probably just talking a lot of shite there, but it's just we are reaching a point of no return for some of these lads, seemingly. We're reaching a point where it's almost like I actually just wouldn't care if you didn't play like another game, for City. To be honest, like we are getting to that point. That's what the last like couple months have illustrated to me, anyway. Sorry. This hasn't been a very interactive show, has it? Sorry. What's up with the press? We didn't even try at all. The issue is, TP Link, when we tried to press, United just play through us. So I didn't even really mind City not pressing that much. I thought it was actually all right. I didn't think United were that good on the ball. And in fairness, they weren't. Outside of us gifting them chances, what did United really do? They didn't really do anything. So that's what... So I don't really care about the fact we didn't really press that much in the second half. Again, you can look at that and go, is that the right mentality? But I think it is. I think it was, sorry. I think that you just should have... I'm not having a pizza, by the way. I don't deserve a pizza. The lights aren't on either. I don't know when the lights are going back on. The lights will go back on when I can say that I'm proud of a Man City performance, yeah? Whether that's an individual performance or a team collective performance. That's when the bloody lights go back on, yeah? So that might not be until 2027 at this cunting rate. Get Mubama on, sign Dave from the pub. Pep's part to blame. Yeah, but we're just talking about, in fairness, I'm mainly talking about this result. But Adrian, yeah, some games I do agree. Yeah. Gift of the win, 100%. Hello, Anfield. Do you think the FFP case will make it hard for City to sign players? I doubt it, because you can just put like in... You can say, right, we'll sign you, and hey, if that happens and we get relegated, you can leave on a free, or you can have like a release clause activated. So I don't think so, to be fair. I think top four is in question. Course is, Kieran. Course it is. 100%. 100%. Let's revisit the table. Yeah? Oh, wow. Look at that. If Bournemouth win 3-0 in the next game, I don't even know who that is against. It might be someone hard. No, Bournemouth play West Ham at home tomorrow. They can easily win that 3-0. If they win that game, we will go behind Bournemouth. And it's so frustrating because I keep saying this, but the top sides this season are not that good. Liverpool and Arsenal, Chelsea, Forest, whoever, they're not that good. If we were just semi-competent, we'd probably be looking at 5 in a row. Alas. Singles have our season to organise these mistakes. It's just like, it's a perfect summation of it though, isn't it? It's a perfect summation, and it's once again demonstrative of, this is the issue. This is the main issue. Please stop trying to tell me the main issue is going forwards when we are giving up easy shit like that. When we are bending over and spreading our own cheeks like that. Yeah? We've bleached ourselves down there and doing that. Yeah? Just inviting it. Shut up, Musty. I am in mourning indeed. Not a good morning either. Bianca saying, what next for City? Mate, this might have to be the season of... This might just have to be the season of win the bloody case and win the Community Shield. What a trophy that is, lads. What a trophy that is, BT dubs. Bruno's dreadful. I don't think he was bad. I don't think he was great. I thought he was like, eh. First of all, I thought the cross that he did was like world class. How the hell have you done that? And then in fairness, it was a massive deflection. But again, I'm not going to have too much of a go at the attackers. Maybe you can say De Bruyne could have created much. Maybe you can say Foden should have created more, sorry. Maybe you could say, like, Haaland could have made himself available a bit more. I don't know what Bernardo did, in fairness. I don't know what Bernardo did in the entire game from an offensive perspective, but I don't think it's too much. I don't think it's too much there. Yeah, I thought first half, some of those players I've just listed actually did quite well. Second half, we obviously changed the game plan. Should have worked. Nearly worked. But for ridiculous mentalness. Ridiculous mentalness. I from like a top of the tail perspective, I agree. The middle, in fairness, like from like, you could argue from an overall quality perspective, like in terms of it being competitive, maybe it's the best it's been in a while. But I'm not convinced that the lesser teams have just gotten better. They have gotten better, but there's far more to it than that. Look at this City team and compare it to 2019. Compare it. It is night and day. It is night and day. Mahrez wasn't even a starter in 2019. That's how stacked that City team was. It's night and day. And look at that Liverpool team as well. Night and day. Toby, chill. You are not winning this shit race, yeah? We are the shittest of them all. You're going to have to hold that. You're going to have to hold that. We're shitter than you. Take it. Defensive problems, understandable. Forward gameplay is shit. Toothless. Sharks. But again, we scored a goal. That's why I don't really care that much about that. We scored a goal. When was the last time? I think, have we won 1-0 once all season? And that was against Southampton. And let's be real, lads. That does not count. Sometimes you've got to hold on. Yeah? And win 1-0. It's happened once all season. Sometimes you won't be able to score a load of goals. Whether because of chance creation or whether because of bad finishing. Sometimes you've got to have that mental knack, power to hold on. And defend the lead. It's happened once all season. Once. It's not good enough. We should have won 1-0 more times this season. And yet, it hasn't happened. And that is ultimately our downfall. And that's our own fault. And a lot of it is individual crap and bollocks. Indeed, but he didn't even play midfield today. He played a right back. Again, that's just a horrendous clanger. A horrendous clanger. It was similar to what Akanji did in the Champions League final. It was very similar there. Very similar circumstance, difference there. Ederson just saved it, didn't he? And then Nunes ran back and did a mental madness. Look, everyone knows I want Bruno G, obviously. I'm very excited that we're getting linked with him, by the way. Very excited. But I mentioned it. In the and I haven't mentioned it all season, to be fair. One signing does not fix City, even if it's a player of Bruno Guimaraes' quality and a player who we need. He does not fix us. At least another player needs to come in, and also there just needs to be a total shift mentally, a total shift. I don't know how important the intangibles are, like who your captain is, for example. I don't know how relevant that is. I don't put much stock into that. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I've lost my train of thought. Sorry, I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Is it email City? Oh God. confidence getting raised or lower Cavadio's confidence given the goal? I don't think it's a confidence issue. As I say, I think he's just like, I think he's cooked from like a brain perspective. He needs to be rested. But we're in a situation where we can't really rest him. Stones, am I tripping? Stones came on, right? Or did he warm up? No, Stones didn't come on, but he was warming up. I think he was going to come on, but then we then we changed it so he couldn't come on. But Stones was on the bench, so maybe that now means that, and Lewis is not suspended now. So obviously he was suspended for today's game. Got to give him a rest in the next few games. I'm convinced that's the issue with him, because he didn't make any true errors like that, and then all of a sudden they're sort of like piling up and piling up. I know he's a wonderful player, so it's very perplexing. We need defenders, at least one. Oh, good for him. Good for Wirtz. I don't know if it's the right decision. I thought it was going to go Bayern or Madrid, but good for him. Yeah, I'm just sick of him. Sick of him. I know that he wasn't really technically individually at fault today, but the weird feigning, getting headbutted. I thought it was pathetic and disgusting. He threw a ball out of play. How do you throw a ball for a throw into the opposition? How is that, like, from like a physics perspective? How can you even do that? I've no idea. He should have given up a goal when he just watched Bruno Fernandes saunter past. So boring. I think Gvardiola's exhausted. I agree, Louise. City are shit now. My club is finished. It's just shit. No need to analyse. See, this is where I'm like, not quite. I don't quite agree with that. I do think that this is a weird one-season thing, and in the summer/winter, City will address it, and it will be fine. But so I don't think it's a finished case. Obviously, it's a fall off this season, but yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I'm just thinking about giving players a rest, Daniel. That's all, mate. Yeah, I just don't know what's going on. Let's believe in the team will win the treble. Okay, Adam, chill. Can't bother watching City now, watching Barca. Check the scores, fair enough. No rejuvenation of the squad. Give me a hint that Pep did not plan to extend for 2 years. I don't know. We'll have to find out, won't we? Walker always manages to embarrass himself every game, out of performances or stupid things like the situation with Højlund. Yeah, that was terrible. I don't know how you fix the mentality, Ryan. I don't know. Again, this is what we were talking about. How do you fix that mental collapse? Do you just have to start winning games again, and then the mentality restores, or is there something like more fundamental than that? Do we need to like sign more leaders? Do we not have like enough leaders in the team, for example? Is that a thing? Do we not have any like actual captains in the squad? Or on the pitch? Is that the solution? Is that what has to happen? Is that the solution? I don't know. These are genuine questions. I don't know what the answer is there. I don't know what the answer is there. I don't know. He's not enough for team. Wait, who's that? Who's that? New players start winning games, says Harry. It might just be as simple as that, to be fair. Science psychologists. I'm sure. I mean, there must be sporting psychologists. Surely they all have that. I thought like the club had that and whatnot. Last thing we need is another 30-year-old leader in the market, says unknown. Yeah, but being a leader doesn't necessarily equate to age, does it? Like how Diaz was an immediate leader when he came into this squad at what, 24 or 23, 24 years old? It's not necessarily correlated with ages. I think Bruno's a leader, for example. Maybe something like that. And again, when I was like tweeting about Bruno, people was like, "Oh, what about? Is like, you know, he's a bit aggressive, isn't he?" Well, sometimes you bloody need that. You know that famous Roy Keane thing where it's like, "Oh, I might hit someone just to make myself feel better." It's like a similar thing. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. Bruno Guimaraes is that sort of player. There's a reason why he's captain of Newcastle, an actually competent one, not like bloody ours. So yeah. Thank you, Citizen Dortmund. Very kind of you. Thank you for the tip. Here's a fortune for you, mate. I'll come to your comment as well. There we go. Right now, there's an energy pushing you in a new direction. Pushing me off a cliff at this point. That's where the energy is. Chris Woods? Oh, wait. I don't know, Liz. I think we might do. New, better players are required for multiple positions, but even after we get them, it will take them time for them to settle. Club messed up. That's why we've got to sign someone in Jan. At least, you know, 2 players in Jan. Get them into the squad now. Yeah? Yeah. They're in denial then beyond belief. The ones I've spoken to adore him, and he's far better than Tonali. It's not even close. Need actual competition for places, says Harry. Maybe. We need players who get stuck in it. Sign Doctor Who. Yeah, give me David Tennant right now. I don't know. Genuinely, what needs to happen for him to get dropped? What actually needs to happen before that happens? Again, I appreciate that in isolation, that's not the reason why we bloody bottled it today. But it's just... Highline needs to be dropped. Maybe, but... Do we have... I don't think it really matters what we do. Do we have the players to... Again, it's what we said earlier. Do we have the players to lock in defensively? Does anyone think that... I mean, based on how we've been defensively this season, how that's our biggest issue this season, does anyone really think that we can play like that? I don't think so. In fact, I know we can't. Unless we've got... If we've got our first choice back 4, then maybe. Because then maybe it doesn't really matter who the midfielders are ahead of them. If you've got, you know, like, let's say for argument's sake, Ake, you know, Gvardio, Diaz, Kanji, you know, some sort of combination therein, maybe for Ake and Stones, whatever. Maybe then, like, those individuals can do it. That's lovely. But outside of that... It's not going to happen, is it? We just haven't got the players who can do that defensively. So, I don't know how much worth there is or value is in talking about, oh yeah, just play more defensively. Because it's not really a thing, is it? It's not really a thing. Ahmad was very good today. He was all, in fairness, he was caught offside a lot today, so it's not like it was a horror situation. Like, he was offside more on more times than not, I feel like. He was offside 3 times, in fairness, so it did work, in fairness. Let's do Man City tryouts. Hoyland's better than Haaland today was rugby tackling Erling in the corner or coming deep and laying off the ball. I don't know. My wish for New Year would be a new indestructible hamstring for Ake. Hello, Kazoo. If we never sold Richard Dunn, we wouldn't be in this situation, simple as. It's a very good point. Now, he was a leader. Oh, he was a leader. I know he scored a lot of own goals. I don't care. I love Dunn. He was the boy. He was the absolute boy. I don't know, gent. This is the thing. I don't know. I don't know what we do. I don't know what we do. Long term, we all know what we do. Long term, a lot of players need to go. That's what needs to happen. I'm looking at Walker, Gundogan, Nunes, Bernardo Silva, Grealish, Kovacic, maybe Stones. They probably need to go, to be honest. There is, a core of players that we can build around and make work. And there are lots of young players there who I'm not going to give up on. But they just need their hand held a little bit rather than being the main guy right now. So that's what needs to happen. Yeah. So we need to build around and keep and maintain as that core. Haaland, and young / prime, whatever. Haaland, Diaz, Gvardiol, Foden, Savio, Doku. Again, maybe the last couple of names there, maybe they need to be like more impact or squad rather than immediate first teamers. But these are the sort of players that we need to look at and say, obviously, these guys are the future. There's far too many players who are in the past. You get me? That's what has to happen, I think. Yeah, I like Lewis, but he's probably is a squad player, isn't he? Just having a look at the squad right now. Bob, it's hard to judge Bob. I like Bob a lot. And I do think he could be a mainstay in this side, of course. But again, even he is like young. How old is he? He's 21. So I do think that we'll probably need... I think we need like a wide player who's like probably like ready to go, hit the ground running. I think we need like maybe 3 midfielders, I reckon. At least two defenders. So we're looking at... So I'm depending on what happens with Edison and Ortega, maybe even 2 keepers. So we are ultimately looking at, like half a team, realistically. That's actually what we're looking at. Especially when you go to like squad options as well. And maybe some of those solutions are in-house. Like maybe like a Wright. Maybe he can prove himself. Maybe an O'Reilly, McAtee, Doyle at Norwich. On loan at Norwich. Maybe like he can come in and prove himself and go, look, you don't need to what's it? There we go. Everyone's getting exposed, says Doku. We're back against Villa. Villa are going to batter us, and batter us quite handedly, I would suggest. It's away as well. Good God. Good God. Need a left winger, 3 midfielders, left back, centre back, striker, right back. Yeah, I think it might be 3, because it might be 3 midfielders. Because Gundogan, Nunes, Kovacic, that's 3 already. They've got to go. Bruno coming in is great, but but that's not enough. We need some more. We need some more. So we need Bruno to come in or someone like him. We need, especially if De Bruyne leaves, we need like another interior. So it's Foden and this other interior in the centre. Whether it's Baena, whether it's whoever, that's who we need. And then we probably need like another 6-8 hybrids to come in as well. Again, what we need to be looking at is athletes, I think. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with signing like, a smaller technical player like a Baena or whatever. But we do need to be looking at athletes, physical players in defence, in the midfield, because a lot of the steel has gone from this team. One of the things I loved about the treble-winning team was the steel within it. There was no physically frail member of that treble-winning team outside of maybe Bernardo Silva, but even he was an absolute terrier in terms of like how he would, and he was so clever in how he would use his body. Again, steel. 4 solid centre backs in Akanji, Ake, Stones, Diaz, Rodri, obviously. Treble-winning Gundogan and De Bruyne. Jack Grealish, again, tenacious. Terrier. Haaland speaks for himself, and Bernardo, as I've just outlined. It was a physically imposing, athletic team, and we've just so gone in the opposite direction. And we tried to do something about it. In fairness, we tried to sign Rice, we tried to sign Bellingham, but it just that obviously didn't happen. And then we didn't really address it properly. We signed Nunes, and in theory that worked, but there wasn't the right balance. How many times has he played in central midfield, Nunes? I feel like it's I feel like it's single digits. I feel like it's single digits that Nunes has played centrally. There is, in theory, a great core of a midfield in there. The starting point in terms of, like, let's assume De Bruyne, Kova, Gundo, Nunes all go. Let's be honest, you don't look at them as first team, we're going to win a title quality, in my opinion. I don't think other teams look at that historically and go, oh, they're scary players. They're fine squad players. You know, Kova, for example, is a fine squad player. So the foundation of that midfield is now Rodri, Foden. That's a good start. We do need to build on that, though. We need someone to play alongside Rodri and someone to play alongside Foden in the middle as well. Now, whether that's Baena, I don't know. It's just a name. The name's not relevant. It's just like the profiles. What's relevant. And then whether it's a Bruno Guimaraes, and then you've got a midfield four of Bruno. Again, these are just examples. Bruno, Rodri, Foden, Baena. Now, all of a sudden, that's a transformative midfield. And that's at least 2 players as first teamers, and then you probably need to sign another couple of players just to be like a squad options as well. Unless you sign like a proper, like another right winger, and then you play Bob as one of those interior options. And like maybe Bob becomes a rotational option as an attacking midfielder. Maybe that's something that could also happen. Either way, that's what needs to happen. Long term. We can't really do that right now. Clearly. It's December. The market's not open, funnily enough. Ideally, at least one of them would be an athlete. At least one of them would be physically imposing. If a couple of them can be, lovely. Lovely. And then again, in the defence as well. Just sign someone physical, man. I know who I want now, I think. I want a Geertruida at Leipzig. I think I've changed my mind. I think I've changed my mind. Well, what we saying, lads? What we saying? Thank you guys for your support. I've not said leave a like on the video, guys. Leave a like on the video. Make me feel a little bit better, please. Please. Also, I've got, you know, because I'm not a coward, yeah? So whether City win or lose, I go on panel shows, yeah? So I'm going to go on the Rational League, Mo, and get slaughtered, obviously. And I'm going to go on the top 6 and get slaughtered, obviously. I'm not hiding. So a penny for my thoughts, because I'm going to have to deal with, like, 4 hours of legit, justified mockery. Justified mockery. And also probably some, like, questions which aren't relevant. So I'm going to have to, like, explain why that's not relevant. Yeah, that's that sort of thing. You know, people saying, well, that player should have done better. It's like, but that's not relevant because we've got a worse fucking defensive record than cunting Crystal Palace, who is shit this season. Penny for my thoughts, please. Big up to you, mate. Right. Mid-table team. Yep. That's the thing. This game was low quality, man. Low quality. I don't want to sound like sour grapes, because I feel like I am quite objective. And I feel like if I feel like the opposition's done better than us or deserved a result, whether it's a win or a draw, I feel like I'll always hold my hands up and go, yes, you deserve to win and buy even more goals or whatever. Even when we win, I've said that quite a lot. Maybe the worst thing about this, in addition to the capitulation, in addition to it being a derby game, is that United were not even good today. They were not even good today. That's the most frustrating thing. They did nothing. Absolutely nothing up until, I think, that Doku and Walker lapse. I can't think of anything threatening they did throughout the entire game outside of that. People say, well, they had more possession at that stage. A lot of it was like dusty, dead possession, though. They weren't really doing anything. Up until that point, and then we got away with it, and it was fine and fine and fine, and then just the mentalness. And then just the mentalness that happened. And that's why it's so annoying. Because now because I'm always honest with my analysis. Now I'm going to have to say, I don't think that United were that good. And I'm going to get accused of being a bad loser. But if they were that good, I would have said, I don't mind saying that another team's better than us. I would like the other team to have been better than us. Because then I can at least go, yeah, beaten by the better team. But it was just like, we were just shit. We were just shit in those final few minutes. I want to say the one I was referring to was when the ball was played into Doku, and then Mazraoui just like dispossessed him, and then like Doku had 3 attempts to foul Mazraoui tactically, and he just messed it up. And then Mazraoui played to Højlund, and Højlund, fantastic ball into Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes should have scored. He was one-on-one, somehow missed it. That should have been the equaliser. Ultimately, we got away with it, and then it wasn't even relevant that we got away with it. Because we're like, I tell you what, I love that so much, Bruno. I'm going to give you an 80% chance to score, yeah? I'll give you an 80% chance to score. How about that? How about them apples? It was too... And this is the thing, Drew. City were bad today overall. Like, it wasn't a great... It was a very low-quality game, but this is what we said earlier. Irrelevant if you win. City are at that point in the season where all that matters is win. I can't believe we're at it, not even halfway through the season, but such is the context of our situation. All that matters is get the win. Get the win, get the win. I don't care about anything else at this stage. The idea is get the win, survive until Jan, and then you can address it, and then you can start to think about playing well. It doesn't matter about playing well right now. All that matters is winning. That's all that matters. So I don't care if it's a shit performance. I don't care if individuals are shit in the game. All I care about is that you win. And there were some decent individuals today. There were some decent... I don't think anyone today was great, but there were some decent individuals. But I don't even care about how decent the individuals are. I care about just the win at this stage, and we can't even do that. Yeah, in my opinion, the title was gone ages ago. Thank you, Louise. That's very kind of you. Time for shit to call for your favour. Sell the dead wood. Indeed. I've not been invited, so I don't think so. I'd go on if I was invited, but I don't think I'm invited. Give me Robertson, Bruno G, Wirtz, Oscar, Bob back. Probably get Osserman. Let's park the bus and unleash Holland on the counter. Again, we haven't got the lads to do that, have we? We haven't got the lads to do that. Yeah. Also, again, I'm not being funny. I feel like you guys can confirm or deny that. I feel like I'm a relatively humble chap on these shows. So I don't know why people are using it against me. I didn't say it. I don't even necessarily agree with Haaland saying it. Well, why are you coming at me? I'm pretty chill, and I've never said it before. I don't think I've even commented on that thing before. So it's very odd. It's very odd. Yeah, big up to you, Sloozy. Hugo has a big job in the summer. It's been terrible the past 2 seasons. I'm not gonna forgive, but to an extent, I can partially forgive the treble winning summer. Not totally, but to an extent, because we did try to get Rice. We did try to get Bellingham, but then I totally agree, Lizzie, that getting Nunes was just not the solution. And we were trying to get Paquetá. There were weird situations there, weren't there? But getting Nunes clearly wasn't the answer. We probably would have been better off getting no one than getting Nunes. Yeah, I love my mods. Shout out at you guys. We probably would have been better off getting no one, because then we would have had a massive gap in the midfield and have gone, right, we need to address that shit properly. Instead, we tried to fix a stab wound with hope and well wishes. Yeah, They don't use hope and well wishes in the NHS A&E department. Last time I checked. So yeah. Yeah, big up to you, Lumbago. Like and sub. Look at that. Look at the lips. That's weird. Because it's in 24 FPS. That's kind of sick. Right. I don't know how to fucking life for. My brain's all over the place, man. This has been such a weird day. Do we have any do we have anything? Do we have any thoughts? Any comments? Where do we go from here? When's the next win coming? Is it a futile endeavor? Shall we just like sell everyone? And just, you know, FM fucking FIFA this shit, FIFA career mode this shit. Let's wipe the slate clean, yeah? And let's bring in, you know, I don't know. Any positives from tonight? Right, and any positives? You don't want to know, Lawrence. Positive is we scored a goal. The positive is we scored a goal from a corner. We know that we need to do that more, so that's a thing. Other positives. Gavardio scored a goal, which is lovely. Diaz, I thought Diaz had a good game overall. I thought he was good. I thought Nunes was fine throughout most of the game in an unfamiliar role, mainly at left back. I thought he was actually quite good. I know he made the stupid errors, but he was always the spare man. Interesting tactically. Maybe that's a positive. I didn't think Bernardo Silva was that good today, but I tell you what, he ran around a lot. And that sounds like the most non-league compliment you'll ever hear from me, but at least he ran around a lot. I can't believe we've come to that point. Maybe you could say that maybe it was irrelevant running around. I don't know if it was. So I don't think Bernardo, we were talking earlier about, you know, do some of these players care? I think Bernardo is a player who genuinely cares. And even though I think we should be moving on from Bernardo, I still love him. And so that's a positive for me. You know, was he good enough today? Or like overall, did he like offer anything? Maybe not. Maybe he could have done better there. But at least he was offering that. Considering that we know how frail we are out of possession. So shout out there. Yeah. Kovacic. Kovacic is back. I thought he looked all right when he came on. Yeah? Stones was going to come on. That, to me, tells me that he is back from injury. So, that's a positive. I wasn't going to say this, because everyone thinks that I suck him off. But you've said it, not me. De Bruyne maybe didn't play that well, but he still forced a goal. Is that a positive? I'm clutching at straws there. Yeah, Luis, I saw the comments. He does, again, I really rate Bernardo as like a person. He does really care. He does really care. And big up Bernardo again. I still think we should move on from him, but I do adore him and big him up. So those are the positives, guys. The other positive is that had we just not been our own worst enemy, we would be talking about a ugly win. An ugly 1-0 win. I've kept saying all season, we've got to sometimes win ugly. We've sometimes got to win 1-0. And this would have been a great, for me, in my view, a great advancement in that respect. But I can't even hang my hat on that. So Yeah. I don't know. Those are the positives. There are some. And I could be talking about them more if we didn't lose today. But that's like that's all I can really talk about. That's all I can really talk about, to be fair, in that respect. Doku good in the first half. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't too frustrated with that many. Again, I know that we were a little bit sideways and whatnot, but we were in the lead. Yeah, first half in particular, I thought Ruben Diaz was top. I thought Foden was top. Gavardiol obviously got the goal, and it did look nice. And we limited United to. In fact, what did we limit? I feel like we limited them to nothing. Yeah, we limited them to 0 shots on target. So the first half was actually, semi-competent. And then, yeah, second half, again, we changed our approach. We went defensive. Was that an error? If we win 1-0, no one's saying it's an error. That's the thing. If we win 1-0, no one says it's an error. And you can't legislate for your defenders and your players just making those cataclysmic errors. Cataclysmic errors. Who do you reckon doesn't care? I don't think Edison cares. That hurts to say. I don't think he cares. I don't think Walker cares. Realistically, I don't think he gives a shit. That might not be a fair thing to say. Maybe this is an emotive thing to say. Jack doesn't think Savio cares. I don't know. I don't know. Again, maybe that's a bollocks thing for me to say. Gavardio cares, man. He cares. You see the way that he did the bloody badge thing? Big up to him. Big up to him, man. Because I'm sure he'll have, because these players, I mean, what happened to Walker was, disgraceful. Like, you can't be comparing him to, you can't actually be saying he's like that on Twitter. Like, you can't do that, obviously. And he reacted to it. That tells us that we know these players see everything that we post on social media. So you got to be a little bit careful sometimes. You can't go overboard there. He's clearly will have seen, people having a go with him, etc. I think that matters to him. That matters to him. That goal really mattered to him. That's why he went to the badge and said, this is my club, that sort of thing. He clearly cared. And he stayed at the end as well. He cares. Yeah, Musty. I didn't want to say it. But how much is there in the idea that he knows this is his last, again, he's in my opinion the greatest player in our history, Kevin. I don't want to have a go, obviously, but how much is in the back of his mind of end the season, go get a massive payday, season's over, I'm just coasting through it, I don't want to pick up another injury, etc. I don't know, maybe that's not fair. Maybe that's not fair. Again, maybe I'm talking bollocks. And if I am, then I am. But the way they are playing suggests that some of these players don't care. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But that is the impression that they are giving me. And if you are giving me that impression, whether via body language, or whether by your antics off the pitch, or whether by your antics at the full-time whistle, or whether by your antics not putting a shift in or whatever. And these are very basic things I'm talking about. But sometimes we are making basic errors. So it is relevant to talk about the basics, isn't it? It is relevant to talk about the basics. Yeah, Kazoo. I think you're right. And maybe you can go, well, can you blame him? I think you can. I think you can, because you're still getting paid a lot of money, and you are one of the captains in the squad. Manchester is indeed red right now, Martial season, absolutely. It's hard to be motivated. It shouldn't be though, should it? I'm sorry, but your paycheck should be motivation enough in the first instance. KB stormed off and didn't clap the fans at Sporting Game. I didn't even know that happened. Well, if that's true, that's outrageous. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, not being that good isn't the same as not caring. Wang, thank you, mate. I will come to this in a moment. Thank you so much. It's a very generous super chat. Thank you so much, matey. Here's a fortune for you. Fortune for Huang Trong. What a brilliant name. You will always have good luck in your personal affairs, but not in your fucking sporting affairs. That's what I think of your fortune. Pissing me off. I'm just joking. How are you doing, mate? Thank you for giving me money. Haaland, Diaz, Cavadio on phone stated to thank the fans for their support. Walker didn't, and he's the club captain. Enough said. It's not good, is it? I very nearly lost it when that happened. I very nearly lost it. And I don't lose it very frequently. You know, outside of in the moment, because I do lose it on watch-alongs, in the moment, you know, I am only human after all. But after the final whistle goes, I'm normally pretty calm, regardless of what happens. That pissed me off. That got to me. That got to me, man. Maybe it shouldn't have done, but it bloody did. And maybe I'm a precious petal for doing that. I don't care. It got to me. And that the fact it got to me alone means that it got to other fans, and that's all that matters. Whether the fans are right or wrong, that is all that matters. Big up to you, Leon. Pep went to win, the players otherwise. Yeah, again, I thought overall Pep was fine from a coaching perspective. How can you possibly legislate? How can you possibly legislate for your players just giving up the ball and giving up the game? How can you possibly legislate for that? You can't. You can't is the answer. Exactly, Jack. Hello, Staffy. Well done, mate. Congrats to you. Big up, of course. Yeah, so I saw something on Twitter, like Nunes was apparently like saying to the fans, "It's my fault. I'm sorry." So again, just because a player's playing badly, and I thought Nunes was all right in the game, but just because they make a mistake doesn't mean they don't care. It's not the same thing, is it? That's the point. It's like Scott McTominay at United. I'm not, you know what I mean. At least McTominay cared. You know, I'm sure he knew he was shit, but at least he cared, and at least he was putting in effort. Yeah, he knew what it meant to lose at United. So many other United players bloody didn't at the time. I understand he wasn't good enough, but it's the same energy, you get me? Yeah, I just think that's pathetic. I think it's pathetic. Yeah, again, apologies. I had a rant at the start of this show. Apologies. Generational head loss. I agree. It's not. Players are crap. Walker was made captain last season so that he wouldn't leave the club. What am I going to do for my analysis video? Because what's the point of talking about the tactics and how Pep got it right from that perspective and how he limited Amorim's United to basically nothing? But the bottle was too great. You know, we harnessed like fucking United of 11-12. We harnessed Newcastle of the late 90s. We harnessed Arsenal of the treble winning year. These are the levels that we are operating at, ladies and gentlemen. We harnessed the bottling in the Centurion year in the same fixture. Yeah. But this is, but not for the first time. Not for the first time. Not for the first time. Yeah. The only solution is to sell the shit and bring in some good. We have a lot of good in this team. We have Haaland. We have Foden. We have Diaz. We have Rodri. We have Gvardiol. We have maybe the makings of good players in, you know, Doku and Savio. But in terms of individual quality, and I'm not including like the totally injury-prone players here either, and maybe Bob as well. We'll have to see how he does after his broken leg. But outside of that, overall, fundamentally, there is just a fundamental quality dip, isn't there? Outside, the gap from those players I've named to like the other players is pretty drastic. It is pretty drastic. And the fact that the warning signs were there last season, but we got away with it. And I kept saying we got away with it, but we need to go in the summer and actually properly replace Gundogan. And we were happy to not even sign Gundogan. We were happy to just have no one. We didn't do that. We didn't move on enough Deadwood. We didn't refresh enough in defence. We relied on the concept of a midfielder playing in defence. We relied on 2 injury-prone defenders. We relied on, you know, Diaz and Gvardiol having to like play every single game they can, and like and the fatigue is there, whether mental or physical. Far too many errors, far too many mistakes in respect to squad building. Far too many errors and mistakes on the pitch. Goes hand in hand. And that's chicken came home to roost. Exactly. Exactly. How many times did we say on this channel, we can't do this 2 years in a row? We can't. We got away with it last season. I know we got 91 points, but we were still, go watch my title tactics video. We were still not great last season. There were still many issues last season. We got away with it because of certain individuals. Just like playing out of their skin to a level which will never happen again. It will never happen again because it was unrealistic to expect them to play like that ever again. You know, one of our players won the Ballon d'Or. That's how bloody good he was. One of our players scored more non-penalty goals as a midfielder than any other in Premier League history. It's not realistic to expect that to happen again. But seemingly that's exactly what we did. And hopefully that sort of compounds the point, Musty, exactly. These are the levels some of these individuals were rocking at. That's not sustainable. You can't bottle that shit. Yeah, Carlos, literally. You can't bottle it, haha. You can bottle it for your City, seemingly. And it's just not reasonable to expect that. You know? Whether it's a dip in form, whether it's an injury, whether it's whatever. Yeah, especially towards the end of the season, man. Gvardiol popping up, Rodri being Rodri, Foden being Foden, De Bruyne being De Bruyne. It's just, you can't expect these individuals to keep doing it, the next season when they're performing at a ridiculous peak that's never going to get reached again, probably. Or in those specific circumstances anyway. It's not going to happen. Nor should it be expected to happen, given how ridiculous the individual seasons were. So, I don't know what the solution is. I feel like I'm rambling. I'm sorry if this is not a good stream, but I just need to, like, vent and confirm you guys feel the same way, to be honest. Solution 5-6 signings, Lizzie, literally. The solution is, yeah, it's that which is half a starting 11, isn't it? It's half a starting 11. It's half a team, realistically, practically. We need Probably need a new keeper, especially if Edison leaves. We need probably at least 2 defenders. It might be 3. At least 2. At least 3 midfielders. At least 3 midfielders. And probably 1 elite winger. I have no idea how much money that's going to cost. But over Jan and the summer, whether it's realistic for all those players to come in that time period, I don't know. But we've got to bring in those players. I don't even know who some of those players are. But this is the state of play. This is the state of play. Yeah, good times, man. Good times. Memories. And I will repeat, I stand by my assessment at the start of the season. The City are the favourites to win the title. It's our title to lose. We should win the title because our opponents haven't strengthened enough whilst our squad has gotten better. And it has gotten better. I stand by that. Injuries haven't helped, and we are now seeing the errors. But based on the failings of our opponents, this still should have been our title to lose. But we've made it so we've made it so we might not even get top 4. Staggeringly. That's amazing. Hey, I'd love that. You know, again, I hate to be that guy, lads and lasses, but the 3 players that I suggested in the summer, if we signed them, they literally would have been perfect. They literally would have solved every single issue at City. An athletic, physical centre-back / right-back. Immediate upgrade on Walker. Adds physicality. A plug-and-play leader of an all-phase midfielder who is unbelievable in terms of second ball winning, in terms of duel winning, in terms of covering distance, in terms of being faster than the majority, basically every single one of our midfielders, who can fill in for Rodri, play alongside him, play ahead of him, and then an elite winger who can just hit the ground running now, and also just offers another solution in terms of running in behind. I'm sorry to be that guy. I'm sorry to be that guy. But if we just sign those 3 players, then we would not be talking about all these problems. And yet, we didn't sign any of them. We didn't sign any of them. It's not even like we went 1 for 3. We went 0 for 3. Those were clearly the 3 areas we had to strengthen, and we went 0 for 3. Mad. Go watch my video, Citizen Dortmund. It's a very good video. It's about 10 minutes long. It's one of my most viewed videos. It's got like 70,000 views. Go give it a watch. It's like, 3 players Man City must sign in the summer. Go bloody watch it, yeah. Indeed, Musty. Yes, indeed. Yeah, and that's not saying much because, again, last season there were issues. In a parallel universe, Roger playing alongside, yeah. I think they're fine as well, Lizzie, but again, they are very inexperienced for the most part. You're looking at Grealish as the only true senior one there, and lots of people have got issues with him. You're looking at Bob, Doku, Savio. Again, I like Doku, I like Savio, I like Bob, but they aren't tried and tested difference makers yet. Not yet. Again, I rate them highly, but they aren't that yet. This is why I wanted another winger to come in. And maybe that means you can play Grealish more in the centre. Maybe that's a thing as well. Just like someone who's clearly ready to go now. It doesn't have to be Nico Williams, but someone like him. That would have been a lovely, fine and dandy time had by all. And we wouldn't be having this problem. It's not realistic. I can see 1, maybe 2. It went in Jan. Well, over the Jan and the summer, 5 to 6, I think, is realistic. We should be looking to get at least 2 in Jan, and then at least 4 in the summer. So I think 5, 6 is realistic. Oi! Don't diss the way I say winger. That's absolutely fine to say. Stop having to go at my Mancunian accent. Swear down. What's the only hope of having fun? What do I like about Savio? I like that he tries. I like that he's a 1v1 threat. I like that he creates space for others. I like his crosses. I like his creativity generally. I like his pace. I like his willingness to run in behind. I don't like his finishing. I also like his defensive tenacity as well. That's what I like about Savio. A lot of things you'll notice. I like Savio a lot. But he's 20, 21 years old. He's a lot better than I thought he was going to be, but I didn't think he was going to be our main starting right winger. I don't think that's a reasonable expectation of Savio for him to come in, be our starting right winger. I think he needs like at least a season to adapt, first of all. But that he's not been allowed to have that happen to him. David asks, why is the defense so brittle at the moment? My question is, why can't we take corners? We haven't taken a decent one in ages. We did score from a corner today, to be fair, David. We did score from a corner. But yeah, in terms of the defense being brittle, it's a number of issues. The injuries haven't helped, obviously. Obviously, they haven't. But it's just weird brain dead lapses that you just can't assign to any individual in terms of... Sorry, you can't assign to like a manager or a coach. It's just a thing, innit? What's our back four? If everyone is fit, Rodri, then the back four is actually good. Fuscan absolutely FO'd and is our only good corner taker, seemingly. In terms of like a direct corner, yes. From that right side. Again, he created a very good chance there. I think it went on Diaz's head. My biggest critique of Diaz. You know, once again, he was objectively our most creative player via the pass today. You know, is that great? No. He created the most chances for City. Was it enough? Maybe not. But yeah, it's the only actual threat. Everyone else, someone else does need to step up on that bloody left side with their right foot. Yeah, if injuries weren't invented, yeah, the back four. Oh my God, get Walker out of the squad, obviously. Right now, I love Gvardiol, but again, he has to be out of the team for his sake. Gvardiol needs some rest. So if we snap our fingers, every single defender is available tomorrow. The back four should be Ake, Diaz, Stones, Akanji. That should be the back four. Run me back the treble-winning back four for a period of time. Just until Gvardiol has a rest. Because Gvardiol was in my first team defence. Because he's that good and he's like elite, and despite him making silly errors, I don't know where we'd be without him, in fairness. So long term, Gvardiol does go back into that side. But if everyone can be fit tomorrow, that's what I do. And I'd give Gvardiol a bit of time out of the side just to rest physically, mentally, and then he can come back into the team and probably replace Stones, maybe. So then you've got... And then if you want to, you can have like Ake and Gvardiol rotating in and out of possession if you'd like. That can be a thing. That can be a thing, can't it? And yeah, then do you play Gvardiol or Stones? That'd be nice. That's a very good defence. That's lovely. That can deal with it on an individual level. But they will still need support from the midfield as well. Who do we need in Jan? Bruno Guimaraes and defender. Minimum. Bob's coming back at least. Oh, that's like a new signing. Should I just end the stream, guys? I don't really know what to say anymore. Do we have any final thoughts, final comments, final ideas, final vibes? Anything else going on in the world? Do we have anything else going on? Any other questions? Any final thoughts? Hey, I'd love Gusto. That'd be lovely. I doubt he's going to... Why would you leave Chelsea to go for City now, though? Like, the turns have tabled. Diego Costa to be Edison's heir. Don't know enough about Costa. I will be so real. 81 corners in the last 11 games. We didn't score a single goal from a corner kick. When was the Wolves game? Was that not in that 11? We scored today, to be fair, but yeah. Big up to the likes. What right back to come in? I'll have a think. I've got an idea. I think it'd be good. I'll do more scouting. Bruno G and Gertrude in Jan, and then a 10 wing back and backup striker, says Lizzie. Ajax in the title race again. That's happened. Brilliant. Big up to Ajax, I guess. Who's their right back? Could we sign him? Does he want to come? Does he want to come play for a shit City team? Does he want to come play for a shit City team? If so, that'd be fun. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. It's annoying because we should have scored at least one goal in we should have scored at least one goal with those corners. But because the creation was up there, the finishing wasn't good enough though. Southampton game, for example, I have no idea why Holland's not scoring that. I'll be very honest with you. Very honest with you. United conceding 46% of goals from corners is crazy. Yeah, that is mad. Once again, reiterates, United were not even that good today, but they didn't have to be good to win. And that's the biggest embarrassment out of all of this. They didn't even have to be that good. They didn't even have to be that good. Right. Thank you guys for all the support on this stream, of course. I've not been invited to LB's panel show, but I've been asked to redirect, so I will of course do that. So you won't see me on there, but you will see LB and everyone else chatting about it. So Manchester was indeed shit today. So stay here because I'm going to redirect you, please. Do like hashtag Nobbins raid in the chat, whatever. Don't forget to hashtag, guys. You know, all that stuff. Any like, just while I'm sorting this, give me any final thoughts. Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. I might not even doing like an analysis video. I might just be like, go watch my Man City broken video again, because the exact same fucking situation applies. Emergency stream. Yeah, there we go. Let's do that. Save that. There we go. We gifted 2 BS goals. Indeed, Cheryl. Indeed. Thank you to the people who super chatted today. Huang, thank you very much. Citizen Dortmund. Dakshin. 321 Baitor. Thank you guys. I think of Robertson. He's all right, but he's a left back. I don't need a left back right now. I need a right back. I need a right back. I need it now. I need it bloody now. I needed it 2 seasons ago, as it turned out. As it bloody turned out. The good news is that Gasky's not available for the Knobcast again, so I don't have to deal with him on Tuesday. Maybe I could get like another United fan to laugh at me. I don't know. I'll have a think. Or maybe I'll just do a solo stream. When do we play again? I want us to play now. I want us to play now, and I want us to suffer. Yeah? Yeah? When do we bloody play? We don't play until Saturday. Against fucking Villa. Oh, what a great Christmas present that will be. A battering by Unai Emery. Good evening. When's the last time we won a bloody game? Forest, good times, man. Last time we won back-to-back in the league was the Wolves and the Southampton game. Crazy. Hooray. Right, guys. Indeed. Right, guys, yeah, don't forget to do hashtag Nobbins raid or whatever in LB's chat so he knows I've sent you. Thank you guys so much again. Fucking shit, man. Oh, no, don't go anywhere. Big up to my beautiful members. Here they are. I had to get used to doing that. 2 relegation teams, says Sherald. Villa have not been that good this season either. That's the thing. Villa have not been particularly good. But they're going to play us off the park, aren't they? They're going to play us off the park. And it's going to be a clapped time had by all. Should we end on like positive notes? Final positives, lads. Final positives from the game. We scored from a corner. I'm bald for some reason. I don't know why I'm bald now. But there we go. Final positives. Diaz played well. Nunes, that's out of the errors, played alright. Foden played well. Doku was good in the first half. We kept a clean sheet for 86 minutes. Stones and Cova are back. Maybe. I don't know. Shout out to my beautiful members. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed somehow. I know I didn't. I'll see you next week. Goodbye, guys.